Hey, 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 happy Monday, or as happy as any day can be during these trying times right now. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Tonight is Monday, March 16th, 2020. This is episode 455 of The Daily Dope. This is the first time you've decided to tune in. Maybe you're self-quarantined right now. Just let me point out, this is a very, very casual show. Just share tabletop gaming news. Every once in a while, we might talk PC games and pop culture. But for the most part, it is all tabletop gaming almost all of the time. Of course, do want to point out, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you watch all the time and you don't give the thumbs up to the videos, how come you're watching all the time? Of course, subscribe to the channel. If you do so, don't forget, ring that little bell, because it will not only notify you of the episodes of the Daily Dope when I stream live, it will also tell you when I upload standalone videos as well. And of course, when you aren't watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Do want to point out, this is a live stream, so if you're hanging out right now on YouTube, you can take part in chat. It is not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you'd like to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, please chime in and I will respond. Speaking of chat, we've got Flaming Huron, the Madman, and Viper Dave are all chiming in to say hello. So let's see what's going on here. Viper Dave says, for gamers, this isolation is no big deal. All depends, especially for people who tend to get together multiple times a week, or even if it's weekly, to play games. I'm sure they are kind of thinking twice about doing that or continuing to do that right now. We will talk a little bit about this whole coronavirus in a bit. We will chat a little after the news. There's just a few things I did want to share as well. But I gotta say, so last show was on Thursday. Today is Monday. It's like we're living in a whole new world. And I'm not gonna bust into the Little Mermaid song either. Yeah, it's crazy. It's every 24 hours, it's something completely new and not good. So, first thing I want to say is, everybody out there, stay smart and stay safe. I said it on Thursday's show. I'm going to say it again. I'm not going to get political whatsoever, but I am going to tell you, pay attention to what health experts are saying. Do not listen to the politicians. Pay attention to what the doctors and the WHO, I'm not talking about Doctor Who, I'm talking about the World Health Organization, are telling you, and take note. So let's see. Fleming Heron says, yeah, as long as you're not meeting in public places, you should be all right. Worst case, you can Skype and play Vassal, says Viper Dave. That is true. The Madman says they are looking into Discord that they know nothing about. I gotta be honest, I know very little about Discord too. And people ask me all the time, how come the Gaming Gang doesn't have a Discord channel? And it's sort of like, my gosh, it's like, how much more work you want me to do? It's like, all right, so I've got a good amount of news tonight. We're going to jump in and then we will kind of have a bit of a conversation. We'll hang out for a bit tonight, just chatting. But first off, my first news piece This fall brings an interesting looking new title. It's from WizKids. I've got the dope on Gates of Mara. Lead your tribe to the Gates of Mara, portals to realms of pure elemental energy. Pure energy, dent, 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 dent. Encounter powerful elemental lords, manipulate intricate economies, and summon colorful magic. Vie for the most influence in each realm so you can establish your tribal claims. From J.B. Howell, co-designer of the acclaimed Flotilla, Gates of Mara blends upgradable worker placement with layered area control mechanics, all brought to life by the art of Nastya Lean? Nastya Lean? Taking a guess there. You can lead Reptilian Dragon King, the Amphibious Goblins, the Insectoid Antids, or the Arboreal Elves. Strategically position your tribe members around the realms and gates. Enchant your tribe members to give them new abilities. Compete for short-term objectives, but keep your eyes on your influence. Only the player with the most influence can lay claim to the Gates of Mara. Gates of Mara is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up. It'll play in 90 to 120 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $69.99 when it arrives October 1st. So it's a little ways off. It's coming out this fall, but could be kind of interesting. Looks like there's quite a few things going on under the hood of this game. And Flotilla always looked interesting. I have not played it. I'll be the first to admit I have not checked out Flotilla. But I do recall sharing news about it and taking a little closer peek at it. It does seem like it's a pretty interesting game. Moving right along, if you are a fan of 1980s slasher flicks, I can't necessarily say that I am, but I don't know. I like horror movies. I don't necessarily like gore movies. But if you do recall the 80s slasher films, then you'll want to keep your eyes peeled for Friday the 13th Horror at Camp Crystal Lake. Say that 5 times fast. It's coming later this year from the OP Games. Here's the dope. In Friday the 13th Horror at Camp Crystal Lake, an anxiety-driven press your luck horror game, players take on the roles of cliché camp counselors like the stereotypical nerd, the partier, the nice guy, the final girl. Well, I would hope the final girl's like the final girl, right? The diva and the jock, as they rely on chance and strategy to survive 5 nights being terrorized by bloodthirsty Jason. Yes, Jason Voorhees. Coveted tools of survival are just within your reach to randomly draw from a camp bag. Cast iron pans, gasoline, cleavers, flashlights, and more. Collect them to make various combinations for points, and use later additional fear cards for ways to escape Jason's attacks. You have only strategy and supplies to keep you alive, but the odds of returning safely to the camp get slimmer with every turn. Steal supplies from your friends, take them with you to the cabin, or keep what you find and wait out the nights to be the last one standing. Game is for 3 to 6 players, ages 17 and up, plays in around an hour, and it will carry an MSRP of $29.99 when it arrives in Q3. This could be kind of interesting. I'll tell you, the OP, or as I always like to refer to them as USAopoly, which I know that's not what they go by anymore. But this is kind of interesting. I gotta say, as far as I understand, this is the first time Friday the 13th, at least the film series, not the actual day, has been licensed out for a board game. Pretty sure. I think this is the only time. This could be kind of interesting. And it's got a $30 price point. So, yeah, come on. All right, next month, we'll see the release of the Artemis Project from Grand Gamers Guild. I've got the dope. Europa, Jupiter's moon. Deep beneath the crust, the oceans are teeming with alien sea life. Shellfish, plants, corals, arthropods, even strange fish and larger sea creatures populate a wide-ranging, interconnected web of hidden seas. Volcanism is rampant, warming the mineral-rich waters and creating excellent conditions for energy harvesting. The largest cavern close to the surface is known as the Pocket. This is where the initial teams of stabilizers build their first outposts with the intent to establish long-term communities capable of surviving indefinitely. Aqua farming is well established. Food and other sundries are efficiently gathered. The Pocket has many deposits of minerals and crystals that can be mined and processed to create strong and versatile construction materials locally. Colonists arrive at the doorstep at regular intervals when the threshold is open. The arrivals are of 4 general types: pioneers, who are tasked with exploring the changing surface of the moon and the labyrinth of seas beneath; engineers, who develop and operate the machinery and structures needed to run the colonies; marines, who defend the colonies from hostile sea life, unwanted intruders, and other colonies; and stewards, overseers responsible for strategy and negotiation. The Artemis Project is a die displacement and engine building game that has you fighting the planet as well as the other players. Roll your dice, place them tactically to thwart your other colonists, harvest energy and minerals, bid for buildings, work together to go on expeditions to earn rewards, train workers. Will your efforts be enough to survive? The Artemis Project is for 2 to 5 players, ages 12 and up, plays in 60 to 75 minutes, will carry an MSRP of $60 when it arrives next month on April 8th. Hopefully, because with all these crazy things going on in the world, I don't know if we'll see some delays in shipping or what. This looks really cool. I know I shared the news about the Artemis Project previously. I want to say, for some reason, I think it may have been a Kickstarter. I don't know. I seem to recall maybe this was a Kickstarter. But it did catch my eye before, and I definitely love the idea of actually sending out your team to harvest and explore and defend against the other colonies. Sounds pretty interesting. So, once again, as I mentioned, that will be arriving on April 8th. Moving on to role-playing games. Tomorrow, we'll see the release of the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. Yes, I actually went and found out how to pronounce that name. It's Wildmount. For Dungeons & Dragons, here's the dope from Wizards of the Coast. Create your own Critical Role campaigns with this sourcebook for the world's greatest role-playing game. Explorer's Guide to Wildmount provides everything you need to play Dungeons & Dragons on the continent of Wildmount, set within the world of Exandria, a land of war, betrayal, and swashbuckling adventure. Comprised of 4 regions, Wildmount provides endless potential for adventure in a land of brewing conflict and incredible magic. Rising tensions boil over into all-out war between the politically dubious Dwendalian Empire and the light-worshipping waste folk of Sohoras, supplying a vibrant backdrop for any D&D campaign to explore. Uncover a trove of new options usable in any D&D game, featuring subclasses, spells, magic items, monsters, and more, rooted in the adventures of Critical Role, such as Vestiges of Divergence and the possibility manipulating magic of Dunamancy. Start a campaign in any of Wildmount's regions using a variety of introductory adventures, dozens of regional plot seeds, and the Heroic Chronicle system, a way to create character backstories rooted in Wildmount. Explore every corner of Wildmount and discover mysteries revealed for the first time by Critical Role Dungeon Master Matthew Mercer. Why do they say Matthew? Doesn't everybody refer to him as Matt? I don't know. I always thought everybody just refers to him as Matt. I might be wrong. Might be one of these people that's like, don't call me Matt. It's like I'm one of these people that's like, don't call me Jeffrey. Unless you're my mother, and I'm in trouble. This book's contents include the following: an expansive Wildemount gazetteer, descriptions of the major factions of Wildemount, player options that include new subclasses, new spells, and a tool to help players deeply integrate their characters into the setting, new magic items, including weapons that become more powerful to match their wielders, new creatures native to Wildemount, 4 introductory adventures, 1 for each unique region of Wildemount. Largely written and helmed by Matthew Mercer, the Dungeon Master of Critical Role and creator of the world of Exandria, this 304-page book features work by talented designers, writers, and artists from the D&D and Critical Role communities. Explorer's Guide to Wildemount is an expansive, vivid campaign setting anyone can enjoy, regardless of their familiarity with Critical Role, and an open invitation to make the mysteries and dangers of Wildemount your own. The 304-page hardcover hits stores tomorrow, and it does carry an MSRP of $49.95. And if you pay attention to my channel, you know, earlier today I shared my video page through. Yes, I took a first look and paged through the Explorer's Guide and displayed my ignorance of all things Critical Role. Actually, a lot of people have already checked it out. I think I had about 180 views within the first 2 hours, something like that, some around that number. And that, of course, is without anybody from Wizards of the Coast actually sharing that. So there, yes. So if you want to check it out, definitely take a peek. This arrived in the mail today. I guess they've been running a little behind getting review copies of stuff out. So usually, and I mentioned this in the video, normally I see releases for D&D a week to 2 weeks before they hit stores. So it gives me an opportunity to share a first look as well as get a review out before it goes on sale. So I know there's also the Explorer's Kit dice set, which according to my contact, my PR contact, said just went out last week. So that should be on the horizon as well. I really like the Descent into Avernus dice set that they had. Those were very, very cool dice. I actually gave that set to my nephew Cameron's girlfriend. So everybody's got their own cool sets of dice in my gaming gang. All right, so Flaming Heron says they'll give it a look. I only saw it minutes before the show went live. I know. That's what happens. It's kind of came out of nowhere, right? I don't know for sure. I think I'm probably one of the first people to have a first look out. So I will talk about that after I finish up with my last news piece. Because if you're a fan of gonzo post-apocalyptic RPGs, and come on, who isn't? You might want to check out the America Natural Sourcebook, which is for Dungeon Crawl Classics. So I'm kind of surprised it is for Dungeon Crawl Classics and not Mutant Crawl Classics. This is from Shield of Faith Studios. I've got the dope. Are the twisted wilds and wastes of America not weird enough for you? This tome has everything you need to spice up your gonzo post-apocalyptic setting. A complete psionic system with 7 disciplines of mental mayhem to massacre mutant monsters with. 18 new wizard and cleric spells, levels 1 to 5, capable of wrecking the most carefully planned out plots and perilous encounters. 5 new character classes: Wasteland Scion, Psy-Mutant, Psyladin, whatever that may be, Beastkin, and Shifter. The cache of astonishing salvage containing wasteland treasures ranging from favorite forgotten foodstuffs to new gray tech, plus the ever-popular alien ray gun generator tables. No America campaign is truly complete without the weirdness contained within these pages. This product, of course, is compatible with the Dungeon Crawl Classics role-playing game, and the 174-page sourcebook is available in PDF from DriveThruRPG for $7.99. I do believe, isn't this setting under a crawling moon? In fact, that might even be the website that this is from. So I believe there are other releases in the America setting, and I think this is the latest to arrive as well. But not bad, 174-page source book for $7.99 over at DriveThruRPG. And of course, whenever I'm talking about DriveThruRPG, don't forget, we are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are swinging over to, say, DriveThruRPG or Dungeon Masters Guild or Storyteller's Vault or Wargame Vault or any of those One Bookshelf sites, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banners for drive-thru sites. And of course, if you make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And I'm telling you, it all adds up and really, really helps keep the Gaming Gang website around. Of course, do want to mention the GM's Day sale ended yesterday. So I know quite a few people, especially those hanging out in chat, are the sorts that kind of filled their wish list, their fill list of RPGs because of the big sale that was going on. I think the next really big sale that we see from DriveThruRPG, for an example, is the Christmas in July sale, which I want to say, memory serves, that's actually the best sale, savings-wise, that you'll see over at DriveThruRPG. Because usually I think it's like 30% or more off. Of course, the sales always have cool bundles and things like that as well. Right, so that is it for the news tonight. Do want to mention, also received the crew from Cosmos. So I am going to be taking a peek at this. I'm going to try to get a review of this out by the end of the week. I still have my video for Doctor Who, the role-playing game, the 12th Doctor source book. That was going to pop up today if this hadn't shown up. I was going to finish up that video. So that should be in the next few days as well. Also want to point out, no show tomorrow. Yes, we are going over to my brother's to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Have our corned beef and cabbage. While they're still allowing us out of the house. So we're taking advantage of that as well. So the madman says, oh yeah, just in time for my birthday. Bonus. Checking out the page through. Yes. Yeah, it really is. It is a page through. I know some folks, I guarantee somebody's going to post a comment and say, oh, well, thanks for the review. And it's like, but it's not a review. I'm just looking at it. Like I said, the camera started rolling, which really, there's no film to roll, but the video started about an hour after it showed up in the mail. So, I don't say. So one thing that I did want to mention, there's a couple of things that I'm going to mention before I call it an evening. I know, kind of a short show. Well, we haven't chatted much yet, so who knows? So Fleming Heron says, yes, I can go over for St. Patrick's Day dinner, but as long as there aren't too many people. Altogether, it's going to be 7. So no, not 10 or more, so we're okay in that. So Fleming Heron says, yeah, it wasn't as good because of the exchange rate for folks across the pond. Of course, I do believe Fleming Heron's talking about the GM's Day sale that was at DriveThru for the past couple of weeks, up until yesterday. Anyway, I was going to say, it's kind of funny because I sit there and, of course, you know, the episodes of the Daily Dope get like 100 views, you know. Just how it kind of goes, right? And it was funny. The other day, I was taking, because now we've cracked the 2,200 subscribers to the channel. But I was actually taking a look, and it turns out that 5 of the 6 most watched videos on the channel are all from the past year. I was like, what? It's like, really? It's like, yeah, I've been kidding. Sure enough, I think the one that actually is in that top 6, that it was one of, I think it may have even been the first video review I ever did. And that was back 2012 when I was living in Mesa, Arizona. But the other 5 are all from the past year. Actually, like past 8 months or newer. I thought, wow, that's pretty wild. I never realized that. I was like, okay, pretty cool. So yeah, Flaming Aaron says, onwards and upwards, Jeff. Yay, I try. What can I tell you? So the other thing I was going to talk about is convention season this year. I don't think there's going to be one. Just the way things are going right now. You know, and it was funny because my brother was asking what I thought as far as San Diego Comic-Con, because we have a room for the first time ever. We have a room right down the street from the convention center. I mean, walking distance. Well, with those big crowds, it would probably take us 15 minutes, maybe 20 to get to the hotel. And of course, this year, we are probably not going to see a San Diego Comic-Con. Because if the powers that be are telling us that this is going to continue on, that schools being closed and people not being able to gather, restaurants and bars and gyms being closed, unless restaurants have like to-go, carry-out, stuff like that, that we're going to see this through August. There is not going to be a convention season at all, folks. So you're looking at no San Diego Comic-Con, no Origins, no Gen Con. Pretty much a bummer, you know? It really is. Especially, as weird as it sounds, especially Gen Con, because it's my favorite convention. I love going to Gen Con. But that's last couple of days in July is when it starts, or last day of July is when it starts. So I'm not seeing these things happening. So I know a lot of people are out there and trying to figure out, you know, how are they going to keep their social activities going? Like, for an example, I know the Madman, who's watching live right now, has his gaming group that he meets with all the time. He plays D&D with one group and he plays Savage Worlds, I believe, with the other. And I gotta say, what I would probably recommend you do is take a look. If you're playing role-playing games, I mean, if you're playing other stuff, yes, you got Vassal. You could look at, say, Steam. Check out some of the board game ports that are over to PC that are multiplayer. You can check that out. I know I still play Twilight Struggle online with my best friend Elliot Miller. But what you might want to do is you may want to look into things like Fantasy Grounds or Roll20. Then there's Astral, I think is the one that's through the one bookshelf sites, DriveThruRPG. So that's another virtual tabletop. You might consider taking a look into those things, because the one thing that's going to happen is we don't want to see a complete, social collapse where everybody's stuck in their house and all of a sudden you have depression setting in, things like that. So I would recommend taking a look at even Skype. I mean, you can get multiple people on Skype. So stay social, even if you gotta, self-quarantine, or maybe, words come down from on high that you're not supposed to be out and about. Then I would definitely recommend be sure to look into gaming online with your friends and family. So the Madman says, got game groups right. Yes, looking into everything. Money, ease of use, all taken into consideration. Yeah, one thing you got to keep in mind if you're looking at things like Roll20 and like Fantasy Grounds is if your computer doesn't have the video horsepower, you don't have a GPU capable of handling multiple people, it's not going to be easy. So Flaming Heron says, can I say the worst part is our games are run in the back room of a game store which hosts card gaming board game groups. I just figure games have to be run from people's homes at worst. Yeah, you know. Yes, GlorantheCon got postponed. Kevin Thorpe has popped in to chat. Yes, like I said, I honestly do not believe that we will see. I think maybe the next big convention, and I mean, I'm not aware of like every single small con or even BGG Con, because I know BGG Con's talking about, well, they're still up in the air. They haven't decided if they're going to cancel. They'll be canceling. I'll tell you right now, they will be canceling BGG Spring. And I would hope they do it sooner than later, because then you get into issues about getting refunds and stuff like that. But once again, that is not necessarily mine and my place to say anything. But I think I'm going out on a limb here, right? I mean, it's not like I've got secret info or anything like that. It's just I usually get a pretty good vibe on things going on in the industry. I don't think we're going to see another convention until maybe the New York Comic-Con in October. I think that might be the next major, like, geek culture convention. I don't think we'll see a Dragon Con, because it's just too close. Because we're hearing now, well, I had heard it before, because I get my news from various different locations. I don't stick to one outlet. But they were talking about that. We're looking at, this might not peak for another 14 weeks. That's why England is not, or the UK, I should say, is not necessarily putting into effect a lot of really harsh measures, which makes sense on one hand, because they feel that, the population's not going to be sitting there the 3 months going, yeah, okay, I guess, we can't leave our houses, or we're allowed to leave our houses for a day, for an afternoon every week to go shopping. So I do understand that. So Kevin Thorpe says, yes, Games Expo this summer. Yeah, probably the same. No WBC. Maybe? No, I'm saying no WBC, period. That's June. Because WBC is I swear, it's always like the same week as Origins. So yes, unfortunately, I will be canceling my hotel reservations soon. But I tell you, as weird as it sounds, I am bummed about the San Diego Comic-Con being right down the street for the first time ever. Not having to take the shuttle buses or Uber or Lyft, but being able to walk on down and or even be like in the afternoon going, yeah, I need a break. I'm going to go back to the room for a little while. Not anymore. Madman says, the friends I would stay with in Atlanta is a doctor at CDC. She's rattled by this. She wasn't with the Ebola and Zika response. A lot of people were rattled by this. So, I'm not going to turn this into a downer. This is not like, Jeff's personal coronavirus news show, because I am certainly not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. But the thing that throws me, and like I said, I'm not looking to scare anybody. The thing that throws me is everybody keeps talking about how the lethality rate of this virus is like 2.8%, 2.7%. But if you look at the numbers from Italy, that's not right. I mean, granted, I guess they're, taking the whole ball of wax, right? But if you look at the fatalities in Italy, you're looking at almost 8%. That is pretty spooky. So, hopefully here in the U.S. and elsewhere in the world, I know there are people from around the world who watch the show. Hopefully governments are getting a handle on these things, being proactive as opposed to being reactive. That's been our problem here in the U.S. with this so far, especially with a lot of disinformation out there because of political reasons. Pisses me off. Kevin Thorpe says Italy has a large elderly population. The whole world does now. interestingly enough, that could lead to a whole other conversation. I listened to an audiobook that was very interesting. I can't remember the title of it, but where people are always talking about, oh my gosh, there too many people on the planet, which I believe there are. This could be Mother Nature fighting back on that, but how we are going to start seeing birth rates drop, and of course that's a problem in China right now. The birth rates, when it was just one child, now they don't have enough people who are going to be able to take care of their elderly population. Japan's the same way. So, yes, very bizarre. Flaming Heron says, getting your money back from your reservations. My mom's boss was going on a tour of Japan and luckily got all her money back. Oh yeah, my hotel reservations actually are all through booking.com, so I didn't put a deposit down. And we were supposed to be we did not book the room for Comic-Con ourselves. It's through our friend who owns Graham Cracker Comics in Illinois. And he was going to be putting the deposit down, but it looks like that's kind of, nixed. So don't know for sure. All right, so just talking a little bit about what's going on. We gotta stick together, everybody. It's the best advice I can possibly give, and once again, I am not somebody who should be giving advice about anything really. But we gotta stay positive. We gotta stay upbeat because everybody keeps talking it's gonna be the new normal. Well, it'll be the new normal for a while. And thankfully, we're gamers, so we are kind of used to being inside with, a few people playing stuff. So thankfully, we're not probably not big partiers and things like that, going into nightclubs every night. I used to do that way back in the day. All right, so that is it for tonight's show. As I mentioned once again, if you get a chance, if you're interested, be sure to check out my first look and page through of the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, or D&D, from my pals over at Wizards of the Coast. Keep your eyes peeled. I will have a video review of the crew and my Doctor Who 12th Doctor Sourcebook first look as well. Kevin Thorpe says, still got a game somehow. Luckily, my group still meet. Luckily, my group takes place either over at Elliot's house or over at my brother's. So we should be good. And we never have 10 people. So we're all right with that too. I gotta say, just be smart. That's all I have to say. In fact, I am going to replace my Happy Trails outro from here on out too. So, all right. Wrapping things up, as I always like to point out, if you like the video, and yes, I've been pontificating, but if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you do. Don't forget, please ring that little bell. It will not only notify you of when the Daily Dope streams live, Mondays through Thursdays, right here on YouTube, also tells you when my standalone videos get uploaded. So you get first dibs. Check these out. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit gaminggang.com for the latest gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Get your geek on at gaminggang.com. Who was it who popped up? Was it Kevin that said, hey, the quality of the videos has been pretty good lately? I'm trying. I'm doing my best. I got fairly expensive cameras, so can't do anything about the mug. But hopefully the videos have been looking pretty sharp, looking pretty good. All right, so that is it for tonight's show. As I mentioned, I will be off tomorrow for St. Patrick's Day. I will be back on Wednesday, though. So until then, stay smart and stay safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for watching.